Well, I do a lot of parent workshops. I'm thinking of one in particular at a pretty darn prestigious international school. There were about 150 parents came to a workshop with Trevor. And the intention of the workshop was to talk about different assessment models that we're using at the school and different teaching approaches, i.e. inquiry and curiosity. And that's a pretty amazing turnout. Like 150 parents coming to talk about assessment and teaching and learning. That's usually they get like 20 or 30. And it wasn't because I was in town. It was because we were talking about assessment. It was that really got parents in the door. Now, what was fascinating, Phil, is in the workshop, I baked in all these turn-in talks, all these collaborative structures so they could experience what their children are experiencing in classrooms, right? And at one such moment where they're engaged in some kind of equitable talk structure, I had three fathers come up to me, just approach me in the midst of the workshop. And they said, Trevor, you're really good at what you do. You're a bit of an entrepreneurial teacher, aren't you? And I said, I am. Yeah, I am really good at what I do. Thank you for noticing that. And the one father said, where did you learn those skills? Did you learn them in school? And I said, absolutely not. I learned them on the fly. I learned them in the field. I'm kind of self-taught. I'm a curious guy. I figured them out. And then I turned the tables on them. I said, what do you do for work? Each of them own a business. Each of them were either a CEO or some kind of business owner. And I asked them the same question. I said, where did you learn the skills to become what you are today? Did you learn them in school? And they said, no, we learned them on the fly. And they each said, we wish we would have learned more of what we know now in schooling back then. And that is the shift in that paradigm, right? We want parents to see that we're doing things differently because we want kids to see the point of school. And I bet if we ask teachers, or parents to rewind to their schooling experience, a lot of them would say, it didn't really set me up for the successes that I have today. I had to learn through experience. I had to learn that in the field, in the work. We want to accelerate some of that for our students so they could be future ready, so they can leave school with more of a skill set. You call it agile learners, to have them face a myriad of challenges, problems, scenarios with empathy, compassion, and expertise, if you will. So parent workshops really, really matter, Phil. I think that's a key piece. We were talking about mindset and how do we get more in the work of inquiry. We kind of were talking about teachers. A key piece are the parents. How do we include parents in this work so we can have them nod their head and ask really learned questions of the work rather than have these, prejudices or ideas that actually it's not what they think it is, if you will.